What can I say, man? Tyrese Haliburton is that dude, man. The Indiana Pacers once again make their way to the Eastern Conference Finals on the backs of Tyrese Haliburton heroics. Just absolutely taking over this game, especially in that second quarter, hitting 5 threes, which is a playoff record for most threes in a single quarter. Absolutely taking over the game after being down 19. The Cavs early on in this game were looking like they were going to be in control and actually, have a chance to force a game six, but that just wasn't the case, man. That just was not the case. Donovan Mitchell tried his damnedest to get the Cavaliers in a position to be able to win this game early on, late in the game. Even though he was struggling offensively to make a field goal, he was attacking and getting to the free throw line consistently. Late in that game, though, he did miss 3 straight free throws on that Aaron Nesmith foul that could have cut the lead to 2. And it was a really, really, really critical. Those were really critical misses for the Cavs. In a point where the momentum was in the, it was hanging in the balance to see who could really capture that, that momentum and really take over the game late in that fourth quarter with about 2 minutes or so to go. But it just really was not the night for Donovan Mitchell nor Darius Garland, two very prominent scoring guards that just could not get the ball to go into the rim whatsoever. Coming into the fourth quarter, they were a combined 7 of 29 from the field, 0 of 11 from deep, with 6 turnovers, and you could see all game Darius Garland with the toe injury, just hobbling up and down the court, not able to get back on offense on a fast break, walking back on offense. It was just not the same Darius Garland that we were accustomed to seeing like in the regular season or in the first round against the Miami Heat before the injury. Donovan Mitchell with his left ankle wincing time and time again on the ground just from the pain and just being fatigued, honestly, from carrying the load for the Cavaliers offensively, doing all that he could in every game that they played in this series, having only played 5 games, 3 of those being 2 or 3 of those being without starters. 2 of those. Darius Garland missed game 1 and 2. I want to say Evan Mobley missed game 1 and 2 as well. And then DeAndre Hunter missed game 2. All of them came back for game 3 to end up winning game 3. And it's just game 1 or game 2 where they had that 8-point lead and the Pacers were able to come back and win a game off of Tyrese Haliburton heroics. Like, he's just been absolutely one of the hottest players in the playoffs. It's ridiculous to see how he has shaped his game come postseason, especially following that survey that rated him the most overrated player in the NBA, which I don't understand. He's one of, if not the best playmakers in the entire NBA when it comes to the way he's able to set up his teammates, the way he's able to push the pace and control the game. He showed a lot of that in this game, specifically in that second and fourth quarters. Like I said, hitting those 5 threes that was able to, ultimately change the game and give them that momentum. They cut a 19-point lead using a 24-9 run, thanks in part to the run that Tyrese Haliburton was able to go on, and setting the table for his teammates also throughout the game. Really was the catalyst all game for the Pacers. Pascal Siakam had his run in that third quarter, was able to really kind of change the tide, taking the lead. At the beginning of the third quarter, hit some really big shots. I want to say 2 or 3 threes, and was able to take the lead. Probably the biggest shot of the night up to that point, 65-64, and then hit another jumper on top of that to just keep on piling on that lead, winning on a 21-2 run. Ended up leading by 8 points at that point, and just crushed the spirit of every Cavs fan in the building. You've seen a lot of camera cuts where the fans were just like in disbelief, like hands on their head, just in awe of what was happening to their team, having been up so much in this game and just losing like 20-point leads in this playoff 19, 20-point leads, whatever, 29-point leads, Memphis Grizzlies. You do not want to be up big in this playoffs because it is a recipe to lose this game, to lose the game. It's happening almost every single, like there's been 2 or 3 games where there have been blowouts and the other team did not come back. I want to say the Thunder had 2, one against Memphis and one against the Nuggets, obviously, and then the Celtics when they blew out the Knicks the other day. I don't know about the Cavs in the first round. Yeah, no, they blew out the Heat a couple times in the first round too. So there has been times where if the team is blowing them out, they win the game like you're supposed to. But we've seen too many times where 19, 20-point leads, 29 has been the biggest point lead that has been blown in this postseason for teams to come and win a game. Like this is, like I said in a video a couple weeks ago, this is going to be the most exciting and has been the most exciting and interesting playoffs that we have seen since 2020, since 2019 actually, when Kawhi Leonard went on that run with the Raptors. Like this is, I'm here for this. Like this is exactly what we're here, what I'm here for. I did find it interesting that Kenny Atkinson chose not to play Ty Jerome in the first half. I get it, he had been struggling for a majority of this postseason series against the Pacers, but to not play him the entire first half, going with guys like Okoro or Dean Wade over him, you could see it in his face, and like he wasn't happy on the bench with those decisions being made. But it has seemed it was working. The Cavs took a 15-point lead early on in that second quarter without Ty Jerome having touched the floor throughout the entire first. They ended up carrying over a 23-7 run to take that 15-point lead coming out of the first into the second, with Donovan Mitchell able to get into the paint and get to the free throw line 4 different times, going 7 of 8 from the line. As a team, they were 11 for 12 from the free throw line in that first quarter. A lot of that just, Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell both being aggressive. Mobley and Jared Allen in that first quarter offensively combined for 16 points and 7 rebounds, just controlling the paint. And, the Cavs got away from that throughout the majority of this game, which is a big reason as to why they were down, started playing a lot of ISO ball, really got comfortable settling for jumpers, and the Pacers were able to force a handful of misses in the paint in that second quarter. They weren't trying to attack as often as they was in that first quarter, and it really shut the water off for the Cavs and forced them to play a different game than they were playing in that first. And the Pacers started off, like I said, the Cavs went on that 23-7 extended run. The Pacers started off slow with 4 straight misses to start off that second with a turnover in just 2 minutes. We're down by 17, and then Pascal gets an and one. Haliburton comes in a minute or so later, and that just changed the game. Neesmith hit a big 3. Miles Turner gets a huge block on Jared Allen at the rim. I want to say that's when Tyrese Haliburton goes on his 3 straight threes and really gets the momentum on their side. And, he was able to get comfortable. The team able to get out and run in the break a couple times, see the ball going to the rim, and they're able to play their kind of basketball at their pace that they would like to play. Haliburton just seeing every inch of the floor and taking advantage of the lack of coverage that he did have and capitalizing on his hot hand, ending the first half plus 21 from behind the arc, trailing by just 4 points. Cleveland was a plus 20 in the paint, but obviously, like I said, that had a large part to do with the hot streak that the Pacers did catch in that second quarter from behind the arc. They just weren't going into the paint, so it was kind of a tale of two sides, I guess, if you want to call it that. One team beating another team up in the paint, being more aggressive in that regard, and then another team, getting their 3-ball to fall, and that's just what we saw a lot in that first half. And the Pacers were able to capitalize off of that run time and time again, on runs like that time and time again throughout the game. And the Cavs had it down to as low as 4 points, I want to say, in that fourth quarter. Donovan Mitchell just doing everything that he could, just absolutely gassed, which is one of the reasons I feel like he missed those 3 free throws at the end of the game. But it's just one of those games where I don't even know what really went wrong for the Cavs. What was it, like rotation issues? Like as far as the wrong players being on the floor at the wrong time or not the right players being in the game long enough. I don't know. Honestly, obviously the injuries were played a large part in the backcourt, um, but it just didn't look good, man. Ty Jerome being unplayable for 2.5 quarters in this game, and then once he finally does check into the game, immediately making an offensive impact, 2 back-to-back threes, supplying some kind of life and reinvigorating the energy into the crowd and into that building for the Cavs. Able to help cut a deficit into just 9, but I I feel like there was a chance, or yeah, there was an opportunity earlier in that second or in that third quarter for really in the third quarter, because they were winning the game. You don't really want to mess up the flow, getting Ty Jerome in, but I do feel like there was time. Like obviously Darius Garland is struggling with his toe injury. He was laboring more than Donovan Mitchell was. Um, Having had to miss two games in this series, I want to say 2 games in round one as well. So his injury is obviously more severe. Ty Jerome being one of the better 6 men offensively in the regular season, scoring the basketball, also a playmaker in his own respect. I feel like there was a chance or an opportunity for Kenny Atkinson to get him in the game a little bit earlier and try to get that energy that he did bring when he finally did get into the game. But I don't know. Maybe it's just overthinking. I don't know, because Ty Jerome is not a bad player. He may have sold his bag a little bit, but this is not the end of the Cavs. I think you have to try to run it back with this team, having traded for DeAndre Hunter, um, who didn't have the best game offensively in this one. And a lot of that did have to do with, like I said, they were playing a lot of ISO ball, just one player touching the basketball per possession, like Donovan Mitchell going ISO 3 straight possessions. Although it was working for a little bit, he scored 13 straight for the Cavs later on in that fourth quarter. But other guys not able to be in rhythm with shots, like a Max Strus going 0 for 8, 0 for 9, whatever it was at the end of the game. This is just a because I was watching the Thunder game before I turned this on. It reminds me of a lot of what I'm seeing from the OKC Thunder, and why I feel like we aren't as successful as we could be. Could have ended up sweeping the Denver Nuggets. Honestly, when you think about it, they had to win on a game-winning 3 in Game 1, a game where we were up 16 points in the fourth quarter, I want to say. Game 2, we go to overtime in a game where we were once again winning late in that fourth quarter. Game 3, or excuse me, Game 2, we blow them out. Game 3, go to overtime, and then Game 4, ultimately tying the series up. We like the nasty ISO kind of type of offense, heliocentric, so to speak, like a James Harden or Luka Doncic type of offense, we see is not that successful. It doesn't really win you. I mean, shit, I can't really say that because the Knicks are very similar to that. Let Jalen Brunson cook in the fourth quarter, everybody else get out the way, and they're winning. Obviously, Jason Tatum tearing his Achilles. Um, you know, they were down when that happened, so I'm not going to say that is the reason they lost, but that does help the Knicks' chance or case to get back into the Eastern Conference Finals to go against the Indiana Pacers. Um, but yeah, in that fourth quarter, I just felt like Ty Jerome came into the game a little too late. He could have made an impact scoring the basketball, playmaking, or just. I mean, I'm not nothing defensively, because Pascal was whoever offense on Ty Jerome whenever he had the mismatch on him, but it was just a case of probably overthinking by Kenny Atkinson, because the burst of energy that he did, supply the Cavs in that third quarter. They ended up carrying over into the fourth quarter and helped cut that lead down to just 1 point on the 10-2 run. And I think that counts for something for Ty Jerome. And defensively in the fourth quarter, the Cavs, while on that run and a little bit after following, were forcing Haliburton to get the ball out of his hands and get it to Siakam, letting him make the decisions out of that two-man game. And it was working for them. Siakam hit a couple baskets, but he had a couple of missed layups at the rim. He had to kick the ball out to other teammates that didn't, ultimately end up missing shots. So that was working for them, and that's how they were able to get back into the game with a burst of energy from Ty Jerome offensively, and Donovan Mitchell waking up and getting back to what he was doing in the first quarter, attacking, getting to the lane, getting to the line, and leaving an impact offensively without his shot falling. And I think in damn near every game I've watched for sure, but almost every game of this postseason, Tyrese Haliburton has come up with a huge game-changing block in the fourth quarter that has, like I said, changed the game. Like whether they were down and it helped them, garner more momentum, or they were, on the brink of losing the lead like they were in this one. It was a 4-point game when he got the block on Ty Jerome, go down, or a 2-point game, go down, get the and one, and now they're at the line with the momentum on their back. I really love the way that Tyrese Haliburton has been playing in this playoffs, and it's exactly why the Indiana Pacers are heading into the conference finals, chilling off of a 4-1 gentleman's sweep. Round one, who did they even play round one? I can't even remember. Who did the Pacers play in round one? Oh, the Bucks. I'm tripping. That was pretty easy too. Obviously, no Damian Lillard for majority of that series, and having just focusing on Giannis, really. Gary Trent obviously had a couple 30-point games, and then you had Kyle Kuzma out there just getting cardio. So that was a pretty easy series for them. And I really like the way that Pascal Siakam just brings it all together for them offensively. He can control the pace. He can hit big shots. I love Andrew Nembhard's aggressiveness. I love his confidence and his offensive ability. The way that he's able to get downhill at his size and finish at the rim is impressive as hell. I love Benedict Mathurin. Obviously, I told y'all that's one of my favorite young players in the league. Miles Turner hitting a big shot that iced the game. Like, this entire team, I really feel like they are a better team than the Cleveland Cavaliers, if I dare say that. And when I say a better team, I don't mean they have better players. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell is an All-NBA player. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley are All-Stars. And then Jared Allen was an All-Star a few years back. We know how DeAndre Hunter gets down on both sides of the ball as well. Ty Jerome, second or third in Sixth Man of the Year this year. So I don't think that they are a better team by name. I think they're a better team by camaraderie. Just a more cohesive unit with a floor general that is able to get everybody involved, and everybody else are also very willing passers and able to, trust one another to make shots, and they don't have to do this ISO ball where one player is getting back-to-back possessions where everyone else is just standing. There's no off-ball movement. There's no weak side screening. There's no dives. There's no nothing like that the Cavs have been running all year, where they get the mid-post by Evan Mobley and let him go to work. Or they get Jared Allen off the screen and roll, get him in that short roll in the dunker spot, get the easy lob, get the easy layup at the rim off of that pick and roll on the bounce pass. They weren't doing that in the fourth quarter. They got away from that, and it was a lot of the Donovan Mitchell, do what you can do and try to, save us. They just weren't able to do. They went into panic mode when Indiana gained that momentum back and was able to regain control of the game, which, outside of the New York Knicks, they've been the king of all playoffs, just able to steal the momentum right away from a team, right up under their feet, and just go on these runs that are just deflating not only to the team but to the crowd. We've seen it in the first series time and time again against the Bucks, and now we've seen it against the Cleveland Cavaliers. When these two teams ultimately meet again in the Eastern Conference Finals, this should be a 7-game series, and I cannot wait for these teams to eventually go head-to-head again, because you got the star power in Jalen Brunson on the New York Knicks side. You got Tyrese Haliburton, who has been a dog. Like I said, one of the top 3 players in the playoffs. Just when you think about impact for the entire playoffs, I think Tyrese Haliburton and Jalen Brunson are right there in the top 3, if not 1 and 2, honestly. So I'm very excited to see how this series takes place. Karl Anthony Towns, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby versus Pascal Siakam, ex-teammates. The defense of Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby versus Tyrese Haliburton. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how they treat a Mitchell Robinson. This is going to be a very, very, very exciting Eastern Conference Finals, and I cannot wait. And a lot of people will try to discredit the Pacers for having back-to-back easy runs to the Eastern Conference Finals, because when you think about last playoffs, where there's no Giannis at all in round 1, Dame strains his Achilles in game 2 or 3. You got Chris Middleton at about 70%, and they win in 5 games, 6 games. And then go round 2, you got the banged up Knicks, no Mitchell Robinson. Jalen Brunson is not at full health. His hand was messed up. Somebody else, a couple other players were hurt for the Knicks, and then they're able to walk into the Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston Celtics. And then this year, Dame tears his Achilles, and then they also had Kyle Kuzma on the team. And then in round 2, the Cavs missing 3 of their 5 starters for 1 to 2 games, and then Donovan Mitchell playing through his injury while carrying the team, being absolutely gassed. This was, another year where you could say, you can't really say fluke, because if you do something back to back, or 2 out of 3 times, it can't really be considered a fluke. But I guess you could say stroke of luck. But hey, you can only play who's in front of you. They took care of business as they should, and if they didn't win this series against the Cavs, having missed 3 starters for the 1 to 2 games, everybody would be crucifying the Pacers. Fire the head coach, trade Tyrese Haliburton. Pascal's not good enough. Just keep on piling on the Tyrese Haliburton slander train. It would have just been all bad. So I'm glad that they were able to pull this out. Ultimately, I am a little bit not sad, because my favorite team obviously is the Thunder, but being in Ohio, the team I'm closest to is obviously the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm able to go see them more than any other team. It's the easiest travel. So I do have a connection to them. Donovan Mitchell is one of my favorite players in the league. Haven't seen him play numerous games, dropping 70 points in front of me. So it does suck to see them go down, especially the season that they were able to have. They were obviously the 1 seed, 64-18, 15-0 to start off the season. Kenny Atkinson won Coach of the Year. Evan Mobley was DPOY. Donovan Mitchell was top 5 in scoring in the regular season, and this was the team that that averaged the most points per game in the regular season, the number 1 offense. So to see them go down like that definitely does suck. It definitely does hurt. But I think if they run it back next year, they'll be all right. But with that being said, man, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Reach the sideliner. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As always, we enjoy basketball. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.